In today's lesson, I'm going to tell you about arpeggios and how you can use them in your playing, and add a couple of songs that you can try out that use arpeggios. First of all, what is an arpeggio? It's basically a chord, but instead of playing all of the notes at once, like you would if you were strumming it, you break it down into its individual notes and play them, you know, you can play them in any order really, but you can play them like this rather than... or... yeah, I'm playing with a pick. You can also do it with your fingers, so you can... So there's lots of different ways that you can play them, but in essence, you're taking a chord and you're splitting those notes up to make it more interesting to the listener and to play, and you can get some really exciting stuff out there. Now, if you're into your shred metal guitar, you might have heard of sweep picking. Now, a lot of people will, there's guitarists like Yngwie Malmsteen and John Petrucci, they can do some pretty mad sweep picking arpeggios where they go and stuff. I'm not covering that just yet because we're just beginning, aren't we? But we'll get there. Paul Gilbert's another one. He does like string skipping arpeggios, and they're a lot of fun. You can also play an arpeggio, not in a normal chord shape, but just like a scale fragment, you know. So you can play like that kind of thing. So songs that use them, there are absolutely just hundreds of songs that use them. If you're not strumming, you can picking those notes either with your fingers, with your plectrum, and the one I'm going to start with for you to consider, it's an oldie but a goodie, but it's an REM song called Everybody Hurts, and that uses chords that we already know. So starts with a D shape, so if we get our fingers and our fretting hand into a D shape, and we're going to go from the lowest note, the D, and we're going to pick each note up to the highest string, and then we're going to come back down the strings. Just check my tuning. Okay, so we'll try that again. So this is Everybody Hurts. Everybody Hurts by REM. So we're going to fret. With our fretting hand, we're going to make a D shape, so we know this, it's an open chord, and we're going to pluck from the lowest note to the highest one, like this. And then we're going to come back down 2 notes. And then you repeat that, so you go... So that's your picking pattern. You're arpeggiating a D chord there. Lovely. Now we're going to go to a G chord, so you can go for the full G chord, open G if you like, or you can omit that if you like, but I'm going to go for the full G chord. The lowest note we play is this G note, and then you skip down to these higher strings because we're going to play the top 3 strings again like this. So altogether you've got... and do it again. And you might want to practice that over and over again until you feel comfortable. And then leading into the chorus, you're going to go... So I've put some tab up there, but you're going to go 3 on the low E, and then you're going to play the middle 2 strings. Then you're going to walk down to the 2nd fret on the low E, play those same middle 2 strings again, and then you're down to an E minor. And you can strum these, and then you're going to go to... what are you going to go to? Then you're going to go to an A, so I've shown you an A chord, and the A goes like this. Then you do that walk down again. 3, 2, open, to E minor. Sometimes. There you go. go. So that's something for you to practice. Another great one is the Animals, House of the Rising Sun, because they go for... And they do it in a strumming motion, so they're kind of slowing the strumming down, but you can hear each individual note. So if you make an A minor chord, so rather than... You're going to go... like that, and as they're changing through the chords, they're going to go, because they do it for each chord. There is a house in New Orleans, and so on. Most songs have got a little bit of an arpeggio in there somewhere because it just makes it far more interesting. Arpeggios are also a great soloing tool. So as I mentioned earlier, you've got people like, well, just hundreds of guitarists that will incorporate arpeggios into their normal lead playing. So it's not just scales, they're throwing arpeggios in there, chord shapes, chord inversions, loads of things just to spice up their playing, which we'll cover at a later date. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea of what you can do with the chords that you already know. So I'd like you to, I mean, you've already been practicing strumming some of these chords, these open chords. Now I'd like you to take those chords and just practice some different arpeggios. You can skip strings, you can just play them. You can do that. You could go for a street spirit kind of thing where you keep circling back to chords and moving fingers around. Street Spirit Fade Out by Radiohead is one of the first songs I worked out on the guitar. It's 3 chords really, but the picking pattern's exactly the same all the way through. So if you really sort of persevere with that, you can really get it down, and it's absolutely lovely. You've got some basic chord shapes, and then just these sus chords, which again, don't worry about the names of these chords just yet, but basically you're just walking around with your fingers. Nice and lazy, like any guitarist should be. All right, catch you next time.